So once again, thank you, candidates, for coming here today on Discord on our LYMEC server. It's a pleasure to have you. My name is Ed. I'm one of the IMS steering committees. I have set the recording of the audio, and today we will have a debate on the IMS by-elections. And since we're liberals, we're very progressive and efficient, why don't we start with initial statements where you can present yourself and your candidacy? You have each of you 1 minute to do so. And given that we have a lady among us, why not Eleni? You start first.
Yeah, okay. First of all, let me say that it is not a reason to start first that I'm a lady, but I'm also the first one in the alphabetical order, so I would prefer that. Anyway, my name is Eleni. I was working as policy and campaign intern for LYMEC for the past 6 months. I'm an individual member of LYMEC, and I'm also member of Young Liberals Greece since 2016. My candidacy is based on 3 pillars. Basically, first, what I want to do is have a resolution from the IMS for the Autumn Congress in London. I have been through the policy book. I already have made notes for that, and I really hope that this will be helpful given the short time that we have since till the Autumn Congress. Also, I would like to engage more IMS individual members through our social media. I had successfully organized the IMS challenge and realized that when you engage people, you gain more. So I was hoping that we can start a more more structured communications plan for our social media. And the third is, and I'm going to draw the gender card here and play that. On the other hand, we have already 2 men in the IMS delegates, so I was hoping for the third delegate to be a woman and represent us and give a strong woman's voice in the IMS delegation. That's
Wonderful,
it.
thank
I think
you.
that was my 1 minute, right?
That was very good, very efficient. Well done. Lawrence, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you. Well, I'm Laurens van Ginneken, the current assistant of LYMEC. I've been doing this for the past 6 months, and my mandate here is ending this month. Furthermore, I am active within one of the member organizations, Young VLD, since I turned 16. Next to that, I was also active in the Liberal Flemish Student Association, even also as a president of Antwerp, organizing many congresses, debates, looking for solutions. I was also active in the youth parliaments of Belgium, where I learned to make compromises, to search for common grounds, to build new policy upon. And I think those are actually key elements we can use also for the IMS delegation, because what I want to build my candidacy upon is mostly not only to come up with new ideas, new resolutions and amendments, but also actually to look for to be actually a bridge builder as the IMS delegates, because we have a unique position, because we don't need to defend any organizations but LYMEC. So we have a unique position in that to bring people together, not only people from the IMS when we are preparing and we were preparing the Congress. We can also bring member organizations together during the Congress by negotiating and looking for opportunities that will make the member organizations, but also LYMEC much better. And what I think we really need in the IMS section, like in the individual members section, is a better communication, because right now the communication is splintered on way too many channels, with sometimes a little bit of miscommunications that are happening. And we really need to bring the team together, to bring the individual members more together, meet each other online, offline. And in that way, by working together, we can actually make the IMS delegation more proficient and give it more body during the congresses.
Okay. Lawrence, thank you. Luca, I give you the floor.
Okay, so I'm Luca. I am Italian, and I'm currently graduating in a Master in European Studies. I am an individual member of LYMEC, of course, but I am also an individual member of ALDE. And I've been particularly involved with ALDE during the election campaign in promoting liberal values and in helping also the team with the electoral campaign. And recently I have joined Libel as a communication officer. And Libel is the website of the International Federation of Liberal Youth, which also which is an organization of which LYMEC is a member. And I've been in general very active at the European level because of my studies and but also because I really believe in the European project. Unfortunately, there is no liberal youth organization in Italy. But during the election campaign, I have campaigned with the Italian Liberal Party, which is Più Europa. I heard that the other two candidates talk about communication, which I think it's a key point, because just few days ago, the ALDE campaign for the delegates at the Congress ended, and I follow the campaign closely, and I've seen that in general, and also like in the LYMEC, both in ALDE individual member group and the LYMEC individual member group, it seems that the people who are the individual member who actually are quite active are very few, and also so there is I think there is a problem that individual members stop being active after they pay their fees, and I think that's like a thing that we should work on. Try to not only engage more people in the organizations, to try to have more individual members and so on, which of course is really important, but try also to work with the ones that are already there and try to engage and involve them more, because they are there, but maybe just they just pay their fee and then they're not engaged enough. And so we should try to build a communication strategy to engage them more, both online and offline. So I think that's a really important point. And also a thing I really believe in is like European citizenship education, because it's true that we have seen like an increase in voter turnout in this election, and also among the youth. I think it almost doubled from the 2014 election, but that's not enough. It's like around 48%, which is definitely not enough. And I think a way to solve the problem of low voter turnout is by promoting European citizen education in schools and in universities, because we are all in Brussels and we are all interested in EU politics, but that's not the case for most of the youth that feel like detached from European politics or are not that anyway that interested in it. And I think if you know the history and the importance of Europe, then it's easier like to know why to value it, like to know why it's important to vote. Okay, I think I used my minute.
That's good. Thank you so much. Okay, so candidates, thank you so much for giving your initial statements. I'm very happy to see all of you are very motivated, they're very passionate, and most importantly, extremely competent, bringing a variety of skills. Let's go back, let's more or less dive into the ins and outs of what the IMS delegate should be. So as you know, the IMS section went through internal reform, and now the steering committee is responsible for structural development in cooperation with the LYMEC Bureau, the IMS section. And the delegates more or less focus on supporting the steering committee, but more coordinating IMS section work towards the LYMEC statutory. My question would be to you, what are the challenges to IMS section? How would you address these challenges as IMS delegate and work together with the steering committee and the bureau in bringing up a positive development of the section. And maybe Lawrence, you want to go ahead?
Sure, thank you. What I think on this moment, like there are two major challenges for the IMS section, and those are communication and participation. When we actually look, like Luca just said as well, you see that lots of individual members aren't really active after paying the fee, and that we actually need to reach out our hands more to the individual members, because they have great input and great ideas to make a good policy, and also to actually to make a more better, stronger IMS community around that. And a main problem with that is, like I have already said, the communication. The way at this moment it works, it's in my eyes a bit too splintered. Where like there are WhatsApp groups, Discord, Telegram, Facebook, through mail. You have to drive to work in, and there are many good ideas. But there should be more coordination when it comes to communication, but also when it comes to working. And I think if we would focus more on that together with the delegates, helping the steering committee with actually also a clearer and broader vision of how we see the things together with the individual members, could actually work to have like a better fixed timeline to work with fixed deadlines towards the Congress. To organize the calls for delegates, not setting them up for like a week on forehand, but even more to actually make a structural organization behind the individual members section, which will also enlarge the participation of our individual members, but also it would create more concrete outcomes after meetings, and we should actually set goals on what we want to achieve. Like if we need a policy on, let's say, vote turnouts, or we need something about say something else like regarding digitalization in the European Union, we should actually try to think, what do we want to achieve? Do we really want to make a new policy about to think of a new points, or do we want to write amendments to existing policy? And when you are actually working with stepstones towards a final goal, we can actually achieve much more and make the IMS more concrete. Because that, I think that's something that we lack, like concrete measures, like concrete outcomes of what we want to do. And to go there, we need, like I already said, to work on clearer communication, and also to work on a more structural way towards our goals. Thank you very much.
All right, Lawrence, thank you so much. Eleni, would you like to take the floor?
Yes, sure. I would go one step further from communication. Of course, I agree with Lawrence on that point, that communication is an issue, but from my experience with the IMS challenge, even when there is enough communication going on and there are emails and you push people to do things, there is no engagement from the IMS corner. So basically, I would like to find ways so that we can push people to be more engaged on the IMS section of LYMEC, and not just pay their fees and just have like a membership that they are not using. For example, during the IMS challenge, I was sending like at least 2 emails per week, and the people participating were 3 or 4 from the IMS section. So I don't think that communication is the only problem there. And another thing for me that is important for the IMS section is to have a specific plan before Congress for the resolutions. And that should start way before Congress and not last minute, because if I'm not mistaken, how things are working now is that everyone is waiting for last minute to draft the resolutions, to go through the policy book, which is 400 pages. And of course, you do not have the time to do that 2 weeks or 1 month before Congress. So I do believe that if you start this process sooner and you divide the policy book among the IMS so that everyone has to read at least 3 or 4 resolutions and come up with ideas if we can merge them, or we can have a new, if we can merge them and have a new one instead, then it would be great. So yeah, I mean, my communication and engagement, and on the other point, a better structure / program before Congress so that we can have the time to go through the resolutions and submit a new one, and then a specific timeline for amendments too. I think that's from me. I'm giving you the floor now.
Thank you, Alani. Very well said. Both Lawrence and Alani touched on very important aspects of the IMS section and the aspects that need to be really worked on. Luca, how about you? The floor is yours.
Well, I agree, of course, with that what Lawrence and Eleni said. They are both like 2 very important issues, and I think on the point of communication, beside like of course improving it and so on, we should also think about how we can reach the people who are who use social media, because that we know that all youth use social media, but maybe they don't really use Facebook for political purpose, and how we can do reach those people and like engage them more. And of course, engagement, as Eleni said, is another very crucial point. And maybe I think a way to like improve the engagement of individual member could be organizing more face-to-face meeting, because I always have the feeling that when you are working online and with people online and debating online, it's always a bit different than when you actually have the chance to meet to make, I don't know, two one-on-one meeting among individual members, where you actually have the chance to know all the other individual members, and it seems like more real thing, and you build like stronger connection, and then people actually feel like that they want to be more active. And another point is that it would be nice also to increase the number of individual members. And on that point, I want to say that I think that's the general problem of EU politics, EU parties. So it's also, of course, tackle youth political organization, is that they're not really well known at the national level. And for example, in Italy, as I said, there is no youth liberal organization, and but I'm sure that very few people know about ALDE, and even fewer probably about LYMEC. So yeah, there should be like that's again a point in terms of communication and promotion, that a better promotion at national level of what like LYMEC is and why it's important, try to like involve more people at the national level, so that like we can also increase the number of individual members. And yeah, what has been, I think, like what the other two candidates said about both communication and engagement was like really already really in depth. So I don't have a lot of other things to add, but definitely those 2 points are key, and it's definitely an issue that I've seen also, as I said before, in the ALDE individual member group, that not only in the LYMEC individual member group, that people are there, but they do not really take part in the debate, even like during the election campaign, and those who take part in the debate are always the same. So so that's definitely something that we should work on.
Indeed. Thank you, Luca.
Maybe
That was
could we speak on things that were said or not?
Sorry, Lawrence?
Could I maybe pick in on two things that were just said or not?
You know what? We can have a free discussion. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, because I heard something also interesting from Eleni, because she was right when it came to the IMS challenge. Actually, not many people applied to that and actually were participating during the challenge. But I think that's rather a symptom because of the lack, like I already said, of concrete goals. But at the same time, we already actually heard a few of the solutions we could have of what we could do. That's like to set concrete goals towards Congress, because of course that is our main duty as a delegates. That's to work upon the Congress. And when it comes to a timeline, to set fixed dates and deadlines, like already was said here by by Eleni, I think that when we would do that, to set concrete deadlines, but also try to engage more individual members to come up with concrete ideas and to start actually discussions that will lead to a resolution, instead of like having free discussions about a topic that was in a newspaper or a topic that was in other media quite hot. Like actually working towards a goal will actually, I think, enlarge the participation of individual members, like I have seen in other organizations where I'm active, like in Young VLD and the LVSV back a day. And the second point I want to make right now is that we must beware of during this debate of not confusing the tasks of an IMS delegate together, together with the things that the steering committee must do or that the LYMEC Bureau must do. Like our main task here is to work towards the LYMEC Congress and not really to organize events ourselves and to take a lead into when it comes to towards how everything should be organized. What we can do is to think of ideas and to go into discussions and into a dialogue with the Bureau, or even better with the steering committee, mostly with the steering committee, how we could improve the workings. But that in the end is not our main task as an IMS delegate, because as an IMS delegate, we must represent our members, the individual members of LYMEC, towards the Congress. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you, Lawrence. Eleni,
Yeah,
Luca, would you like to react to that?
Comments?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I agree with Lawrence that engagement is a symptom of maybe lack of communication during other times of the year, but at the same time, I believe that we can see that IMS communication is not working as it is right now. For example, again, back to the challenge, even the delegates themselves, apologies, I'm not blaming anyone, but I only had Balin participating to all the challenges when we made clear that we would like at least all the IMS delegates to have the time to participate in a few challenges. So I think that there is an issue going there, and you can also see that in this current debate, it's only the steering committee, us, and Balint who is present here. I mean, okay, I get that it's an online debate, no one has the time, and it's going to be a recording, but at the same time, we do have 2 delegates at the moment, and I mean, there's clearly an issue to be solved there. As for the deadlines, again, I agree with Lawrence. Work better with other people, and what I've been seeing around is the fact that when you have deadlines, people are more committed towards that goal. So yeah, ahead of Congress, definitely a few deadlines will do. But for me, it's really important for the rest of the delegates to take a position. I would love to see them here today and asking questions to the rest of us, because they are going to work with at least one of us during the next months ahead of Congress. So I'm a bit disappointed, and I want to express that the rest of the 2 delegates are not in that debate. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Very good comments. Luca, do you have something to respond to both Eleni and Lawrence on that?
Yeah, I wanted to say just about organizing an event. This was just an idea that I had in mind, but I know that it's more like the steering committee does. But anyway, we have to work with the steering committee. So I think like the problem that the lack of engagement is also a problem, a general problem, also because if we want to work on the resolution and so on, as you said, like month before, and we need also like members, individual members to be active, like to have like good resolution, and to have like to really know what they want and what are their requirements, and not all only our ideas. And so we need to cooperate with the steering committee. So I totally agree with what Eleni said, that there should be like more cooperation with the steering committee. I haven't personally taken part to the challenge that, but I actually knew about it, but I haven't personally taken part. But I know that that as a way to like, it's true that in IMS delegate and the steering committee and different tasks, but anyway, like, to make this function we have to cooperate. So the important thing is at the end to try to like engage more the individual member, and to do that both, as I said, online and offline. So if like that was just a very an idea that I just thought at the moment, but if that could actually improve like the engagement of individual member, then I think it's something that we could do. Or because as we have seen, like what's the debate on the group, on the Facebook group especially, it's not working. So and then like we should try to find other channels to make this work.
All right, thank you, Luca. Thank you all candidates. You've raised very, very important issues, demonstrating that you have, regardless of responsibilities, whether it's IMS delegates or IMS steering committee, you all have a very good grasp of the IMS section, how it functions, and most importantly, the challenges that comes with the responsibilities of being an IMS delegate. Now, not to waste too much time, and so that the recording is not too long for those who want to scrub through it later in order to decide who to vote for, I will give you a last 30 seconds, very short statement. Why should anyone vote for you as an IMS delegate? So, Lawrence, maybe you would like to go ahead as first one. Your closing statements, 30 seconds. Why should anyone vote for you?
Okay, here it goes. Well, if you want to have someone who can build compromises, who can come up with fresh ideas, who has experience with lots of congresses, also working in different languages, like my own language knowledge of English, Dutch, French, Polish, with someone who actually like knows the core values of liberalism as well, who loves to work and cooperate with others and to learn new things as well. If you want someone like that to be your representative at the LYMEC Congress, then it will be a great vote for me, because you'll have experience, some knowledge, no, not some knowledge, liberal knowledge, and I hope to meet all of you someday so we can actually have better talks, better discussions about all the topics. And I would hope, and it would be an absolute honor to represent you at the LYMEC Congress. Thank you.
Awesome, Lawrence. Well done. Eleni, how about you?
Sorry, was that about me?
Maybe you would like to be the next one? Closing statement, 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, couldn't hear you well. So 30 seconds for me. Well, if you want someone who already knows the policy book by heart and know what needs to be done before Congress, and can give directions to all the IMS, to all the individual members, then I'm your best chance at it. I've worked on it. I know what lacks and what needs to be done, so I can guarantee deadlines and concrete plans for that. Also, if you want someone who is already trying to engage the individual members, again, I have experience of that. I tried really hard. I talked with a lot of IMS people during the past month of our EU campaign. And if you want a strong woman and you need the fresh voice in the IMS delegate, so I would be happy to represent you at the next Congress. And that's all for me, I think. Yeah.
Thank you, Eleni.
Yeah,
very
I'm out.
smooth and very concrete. Luca, your final word.
Well, if you want to vote with someone who has not only had already a European experience with the Liberals in both, like as I said, ALDE and LYMEC, but also with an international organization, as I said before, the International Federation of Liberal Youth. So I have already contacts with other international members and European members, but also who is willing to hear your request, and as I explained, to try to engage more individual member and to increase the number of individual member, then well, you should vote for me.
All right, thank you, Luca, and thank you all the candidates for your time. Unfortunately, we didn't have many other individuals joining us today. We had only a couple of us, but I will upload the recording of this debate, and Balint will make sure that this is communicated well to all the IMS, so that they can make their decision regarding who to vote. So thank you all so much for your time. I wish you a very good evening and best of luck in the upcoming elections. Well done, everyone.
Thank you. So
Thanks.
I guess we say goodbye now?
Yes, goodbye.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
goodbye.
Bye, everyone.